It's the final game of the season, at least the regular season for the Colorado Avalanche. The Avs will be the first team in the NHL to finish their season. Only a handful of other teams even have played 81 games, so a very early finish for the Avs, which sets up a good rest period before the playoffs. They do have to get through this one first, though. They're taking on the Anaheim Ducks. I am Rudo, and this is the DNVR Avalanche pregame show. Same as last game, pretty much for the Avs. All of the stars are getting rested, so a bunch of people are bumped up your lineup. And the Avs are filling things out with the main objective of they just don't want to get hurt in this hockey game. If we're being honest about it, that's the only thing the Avs truly care about here. So I don't expect a particularly amazing game. What I will say is Anaheim, not a very good team, and in fact may actually be trying to lose out as they are looking to get a good draft position instead of actually trying to win hockey games like the last couple of opponents that the Avs have played. I guess Vancouver was eliminated. It is what it is. Whatever. Not that big of a deal either way. So hopefully it's a pretty free-flowing game. You can have a little bit of fun. Maybe we'll see a little bit of offense. Should be entertaining in that regard at the very least. As far as the Avs are concerned, I don't know. I guess you'd like to see guys keep rolling like Nichushkin and Nelson playing well the other night. You'd love to see them run it back again tonight and feel good about their games.
Breaking news from Evan. Nichushkin and Lehkonen will get the night off. Miles Wood is back in, as well as TJ Tynan.
So no one's playing in this game. Sick. There is nobody playing. Nelson is...
Natchez is playing.
Nelson and Natchez are your only top six forwards actually playing in this game. That's fun. It is Scott Wedgwood in net, as expected, on a back-to-back with Blackwood playing the other game. Your defense is still, two Eagles players and Keaton Middleton in your bottom three of your six. So, yeah, this is a lineup of all time. Other than that, I don't know. Maybe the Avs win anyway. Maybe something crazy happens. Anything's possible. I'm just not expecting anything out of this game, to be honest. Cool stuff might happen. I do think you can have some interesting conversations for someone like a Miles Wood. He's played pretty well over the last handful of games. He is a guy who maybe is trying to earn more time in the lineup come playoff time. Look, is he in your starting lineup game one? Probably not, but nobody gets through playoffs healthy if they go on a deep run. So the Avs are going to need a guy like that at some point in the playoffs. And like I said, I don't think this is about building momentum necessarily. The 5 days off the Avs are going to have pretty much stems all of that, but it is about earning the coach's trust and proving that you can fill a role if the Avs need you to, which I would argue Miles Wood has done the best of anyone in that rotation of guys in filling those roles. You can even make an argument he's been better than Parker Kelly and Yoel Kiviranta over these last couple of games. Obviously, that's not a big enough sample size to say, hey, we're going to put you in over those guys. But he's been solid, been better than Jimmy Vesey too. Not that Vesey's been bad either, but if those two are battling it out to be that 13th forward, I think Miles Wood has been the better of the two. So that's a kind of conversation you could look at. I am curious to see exactly what the time on ice looks like here too. With it being a second game of a back-to-back for an Avs, you're definitely not trying to overstress anyone, but also you're about to have 5 days off, so maybe you're not too worried about those time on ice minutes racking up. It's just a game with a bunch of random stuff going on for the most part, though. So I'm not going to overthink it too much, but I don't know. Will the Ducks care about this game at all? I'm sure the players on both teams would like to win the game. Ducks have been heading towards their offseason for the better part of 3 weeks. Avs have known they were the third seed for the better part of 3 weeks. This is a game that the NHL doesn't care about, let alone me. And of course I want to see the Avs win every night. I cover the team and I root for the team, but do we really care? Maybe you do, chat. Maybe you've had a bad day and you want the Avs to make your day better. I get that. That's fair enough. I'm not gonna argue with that, and I hope they can do that for you. So hopefully we get there. The top 6 exists. I really don't know that you can take anything for the top 6 out of this game. Maybe Nilsson and Nate just play together and you like what you see out of that, but the rest of those guys are not going to be playing in your top 6, so who cares? But when you look at the bottom 6 of this lineup, you can probably mix and match, try some combinations, see if you find something you like out of that. Maybe you want to try some shutdown line stuff. You throw a line of Drury, Logan O'Connor, and Miles Wood together and see if they can be a shutdown line at a third line caliber, at least against a team of Anaheim. Or maybe they struggle as a third line, so you need to keep that as more of a fourth line. Maybe you look at some of these other guys that are trying to earn spots or trying to move up the lineup, and can they fit better on a more skilled line instead of a grindy fourth line AHL type line? I guess you're looking at things like that. I don't even know if the Avs will be looking at things like that, though. I really don't know that there's much more for Colorado than to just get through this game. But who knows? Yeah, I'd love to see some first NHL goals, too. That'd be fun. That'd at least be something to talk about, right? Gabe is not playing in this game. That's not happening. So even if the Avs wanted to, they wouldn't have the cap space to manage that. But yeah, power play might be funny too. There could be some interesting units in this game. I'll put that out there. Who knows? Again, right there, as the Stig says, Winnipeg had a couple injuries the other night, or earlier today, rather. Who knows how serious they actually are, but that's all you're trying to avoid. If the Avs can be as healthy as possible on Saturday or Sunday, I think they're likely to play game 1 on one of those 2 days. Good. That's all you really care about. It'll be interesting to see how hard the Avs try to play offense, because I think we'll see the same thing as we saw the other night when it comes to effort levels on physicality and defense. The Avs are going to play it fast and loose. They're not going to put their bodies on the line as much. They're not going to be diving cross ice to block shots and things like that, because it's just not worth the risk right now. But I do think this team will put the effort in on the offensive side to try and create good opportunities and enjoy the game. That's what I'm trying to take out of this one. I'm going to enjoy the fun parts of this game and not think too much about the rest of it. So hopefully they can do something enjoyable. E has 3 keys for you that we're going to play here. I don't think there's too many keys that actually matter, but let's see what he touched on.
Biggest 3 keys. Last game of the season, Avalanche against the Anaheim Ducks. Let's get this season over with. Let's get on to the good things. So finish strong, finish happy, finish healthy. A little bit of the same that what we've been talking about in the last couple of games. Honestly, nothing special. Take advantage of the opportunities that are given to you if you're a kid or if you're a veteran that's looking for its spot in the lineup next weekend. So, maybe there's a lot to play for some guys there. But at the end of the day, it's been a great season for the Avalanche, expecting a great playoff. Finish strong today, get home, and then let's get prepared for Dallas and have some fun. Let's go.
Let's go. Get it done. That's the part that I care about. Just to give you an official lineup. Top line of Wood, Nelson, Natchez. Second line of Kiviranta, Coyle, and Logan O'Connor. Third line, Kelly, Drury, Vesey. And a fourth line of Inala, Tynan, Wagner. I do expect those guys to mix and match quite a bit. On the defensive side, your top pairing is Sam Girard and Eric Johnson, followed by Wyatt Amott and Sam Malinsky, followed by Keaton Middleton and Jack Ashawn, with a Scott Wedgwood in net. That is 18 skaters and a goalie. That is what that is for sure. At this point, I'm questioning if they should give Jared Bednar a rest today. Let let the assistant coaches, let Nolan Pratt be the head coach for a day, or Ray Bennett can be the head coach for a day in this one, because that's just where the Avs are at in their season. It could be a fun game, though. Like, I don't just mean from the Avs side of it. Like, the Anaheim Ducks are not a good team, but when given time and space, they are a high skill team. They can pull off some fun plays. You can have some excitement happen with that team on the ice. So maybe we'll get a little bit of a skills competition type game. So I'm digging for some reason to make this game interesting at this point. That's basically all it is. Man, Anaheim's leading scorer has 53 points. It's rough out here. It's rough out here, chat. We're struggling today. But honestly, as you move into the end of the season, the Avs are going to have a weird stretch here, and they've already announced they're not practicing tomorrow, though honestly, they might not even fly home until tomorrow. This game is going to end so late, but they're going to have multiple days off, and then they're going to have multiple practices, which will be actual practices, and I don't mean to allude that the Avs aren't currently having actual practices, but over this last course of the stretch of the season, they've taken a number of days off practice. They've had a number of optional practices. The Avs are going to have multiple days to really dig in and work on things that they need to work on as a team at practice, to work on maybe some of the decision-making you haven't loved, maybe some of the special teams stagnancy that you haven't loved. They're going to have real practice days to do issue fixing on those types of units. So you should expect them to come into the playoffs locked in. They also get a bunch of extra days. This isn't necessarily the players, but the coaching staff, and you can have video sessions and things like that of exactly what the Dallas Stars are bringing at them, because we now know with certainty it is the Dallas Stars the Avs will be playing in the first round. So I do think this is a beneficial situation to the Avs, even if the hockey product, it's the opposite of beneficial too as they wind down their season. I think we're somewhere with this. I think the Avs can be pretty happy with the way they are walking into the playoffs, regardless of the actual hockey results over these last handful of games. I think it'll be good for them, and I do expect the Avs to be fully healthy come game one of the playoffs. Yeah, a good point in the chat. These extra 5 days are also good for Gabe Landeskog to test out where he's at after playing a couple of real hockey games and maybe get into some of those practices properly to get up to a little bit of speed on maybe some of the differences that the Avs lineup has from the last time he played from over 3 years ago. It is what it is. I'm trying to think of a team that had their season end this early, and I can't really remember a time that a team basically had a whole week of time off at the end of their season before the playoffs start. Dallas's season doesn't end until Wednesday, so they do get a few days off, but nothing too crazy. It doesn't seem normal, I guess, but nothing about the end of this schedule for the NHL this year seemed normal. Maybe it's just a weird year, I guess. I haven't done the research to really know what's going on with that, but just more weird stuff happening. Tiff, who do you think is the most interesting player on the Avs to watch in this game? Do you have someone you're interested in seeing what they do, or is this really just a nothing game?
I think it's kind of a nothing game, but I'll kind of just be looking at Wedgie and
sure,
maybe Natchez.
Fair enough. I don't know. I can't take Natchez seriously in a game like this. I think we know we're not going to get probably not even like 80%. And Natchez is really good and super high skilled that he might still look good anyway, but that's fine. I do think there are some interesting conversations on the defensive side to watch too. I know I've talked mostly about the forward side, and again, I'm not expecting much out of the defensive side. But Girard with EJ is not a big surprise. We've seen them run that pairing quite a bit. But you're talking about someone like a Sam Belinsky. Can he function well regardless of who you put next to him, I guess? Because on a night like tonight, you're going to see some change-ups. You're going to see some swaps of the defense. You're going to see a lot of odd pairings. And if Belinsky can prove that his pairing mate doesn't matter that much and doesn't affect his game that much. He played great the other night. Maybe you feel like you're gaining a little bit of flexibility with a player like that in your decor, whereas 40 games ago, you certainly didn't believe in that flexibility. You weren't even sure if he was going to be a regular in your lineup. So it is what it is. I guess if I'm really trying to dig deep and take a serious angle on the defense, it doesn't matter. None of you have second pairing guy. EJ's really a third pairing guy playing top pairing minutes for you tonight. That's just, they're so far away from what their playoff lineup is going to look like that even if you look great, it's not reality. So, I don't know. Chad asks, did you take anything away from Landy praising Megna in the locker room for him playing the right way? I mean, sure. It's getting praise from Landy is definitely meaningful. Obviously, he's a very well-respected voice in the Avalanche organization, if not the entire NHL. So it doesn't mean nothing, but I don't think there's any big surprises about that. There's a reason guys like Megna often earn those first tweener type call-ups or have the opportunities to wear letters in the AHL is because they're those guys, the guys who do the right things and the guys who, I don't want to say like keep guys in line because I don't think that's what they really do, but veteran players who understand what they are, understand where they are in their role, and understand how to help maybe some of the younger kids on the team progress and not necessarily take the next step in their career at a certain point. That just comes down to each individual player, but be a quality piece on teams like that can be stability in a very fluctuating lineup, in a very fluctuating situation for players that are going through a very fluctuating part of their life. A guy like Megna can be a solid piece in an organization, let alone in the NHL, in the AHL, wherever they might be. So that's kind of how I look at that with Megna. Look, it's a weird time of the year, even for the Colorado Eagles, right? Because you go look at the AHL and the Eagles are at the top of their division in the Pacific. You're heading towards a playoffs for them where they just had a bunch of dudes cut out of their lineup for the last couple of games. They had to make rooms for Gabe Landeskog to play a few games. Their lineup has been in as much flux as the Avs has this season because of all of the injuries and all of the stuff that the Avs have been dealing with. So it's organizationally wide that this weirdness is kind of going on this season. And it's going to help the Eagles, too, come their playoff run in the last handful of games that are left in the AHL season, too. You're getting stability top to bottom. It's really going to be fun when we get there. We're just in the doldrums of the season that are the last couple of pieces before we actually get there right now. So you got to make it to the end. And for the Avs, that is 60 more minutes of hockey. P.S. Please don't go to overtime in this game. I don't have it in me. I can't do another overtime shootout. End this game in regulation. Be done. Please. That's all I'm good with. We can get out my crystal ball for this one. I had a little bit of fun. I'm not overthinking it. I'm not actually expecting results like this, but I said, you know what? It's a weird game. Weird things might happen. I am going 6-0 scoreline for the Avs. A complete blowout of the Ducks because they don't care either. So why not? Why not just style on them? Have a little bit of fun with it. My initial name I was going to pick was Lehkonen to break out of his goal-scoring slump, but no, apparently he's not even playing. So going to have to come up with somebody else's name to pull on the crystal ball. I'm going to take... Let's take someone random, all right? How about we go with Parker Kelly? Why not? Go with a guy moving up the lineup. Go with a guy that is willing to do anything for you. If you're looking for a guy to play hard, even in a weird, meaningless game, Parker Kelly, probably your guy. He's not going 100%. He's not going to blow himself up to get this one done. But you know what? He could be fun to watch tonight. That's what I'll go with on the Parker Kelly side. On the other side of it, if you want to, you can always put in your pregame picks with Bet365, where things are never ordinary. I wouldn't recommend going with my pregame picks on this one. In fact, I would recommend betting on other games than this one. But if you do want to bet the Avs, have a little bit of fun. I took EJ to score the first goal. Why not? Anybody who has a 0 in the goal column, I want to see that guy score tonight. I tried to take the Lehkonen hat trick, but he is apparently not playing, so that's not an option. Oh, well. And I did take the 6-0 scoreline. It's plus 10,000. Why not? Why not have a little bit of fun? You gotta find something to meme about at very least when it comes to this game, and you can find those memes on Bet365. There you go. Fill in a different name for the Lecky hat trick. Just throw out a hat trick bet. Why not? For plus 15,000, you might as well have some fun.
I bet there's somebody else in there for that amount.
Oh, there's a ton of people in there at plus 15,000. I think Lehkonen was like the highest of the list, so you could find somebody. You could jump in with that. When you do jump in with it, make sure you're using Bet365 and the DNVR 365 code. And of course, when you do gamble with them, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. When you're looking around the league and you're the Colorado Avalanche and you're looking at some of these teams, I think the reality is there shouldn't be any excuses for this team come game one of the playoffs. I know some people are going to say, well, 5 days off, there could be a little bit of rusty. I don't think so. I don't think this team gets to claim rust for game one of the playoffs. You should be up. You should be ready to go. Yes, you haven't played a game in a while, but the Avs will be practicing across that time. And it's the playoffs. You should have the energy and jump. First minute, first second. And you should be able to run through these playoffs, at least starting off with more jump than anyone else. You should be the complete rest of it. Most teams are going to have at least a couple of days off. Like Dallas, I think will have 2 days off. So it's not like they should be dog tired or anything, but you should have more jump than Dallas at the start of this series. You look around the rest of the West, there's not a ton of games to play. The only team that still has a significant number of games to play in the playoffs in the West is LA, who has 3 left this week. So maybe it's not that crazy. The Avs are just ending a couple of days earlier than most teams instead of a whole boatload of time early. But I really just think this season has set up in a way where the Avs should have absolutely zero excuses come playoff time. You're going to be as healthy as you possibly can be, and certainly as healthy as you've been this season. You may even see Gabe Landeskog play in game 1. There's not a ton else that is going to be hampering the Avs going into the season. You feel, or postseason, I should say. Them being as healthy as they've ever been, they're also as deep as they've ever been with their deadline acquisitions. Certainly on the forward side, they should be absurdly deep. I struggled to think of a team deeper at forward. Even Dallas, I think, at best is as deep and probably less deep if you're including Landeskog. Their defense is super duper solid. If they're healthy, you feel like they're 7 deep there and you're not particularly worried about it. Goaltending also solid. I know people have struggled with Blackwood, and I think there's reasonable to be slightly concerned about his confidence levels, but I'm expecting his actual play to pick up in the playoffs. And if it doesn't, Scott Wedgwood has played great. So you would feel okay if you have to go to him. It's despite the last couple of losses, I just feel really, really good about where the Colorado Avalanche are as a whole. So I don't know. I'm excited to get the season done. I don't know that I'm particularly excited for this game tonight, especially because it's another stupid late start, but I am excited for the postseason that is coming our way. I don't know. Is there something you specifically want to see out of this game, chat? Is there something you're specifically looking for as fans of the Avalanche? Or are we just here having a good time, going to chill on the watch along, sip some beers, and enjoy life? Because that's mostly what I'm here to do today. I'm not going to lie to you. Sorry, needed to grab a quick drink there. But I really don't think the Ducks matter at all to the Avalanche. Like, there are teams where you can get yourself up. I know I think the rivalry's dead. The Avs still usually get themselves up for a Detroit game. The Avs still usually get themselves up for a divisional game, even in these ones that aren't that important. The Anaheim Ducks, I don't see any reason to care. I'll put it to you that way. Hey, look, I'm down. I'm down for the goalie goal. I'm always down for that. Never seen one live. Seen replays all the time, but never actually seen one happen in real time. So that would be fun. Yeah, it looks like most of you guys are in the same boat as I am. Just don't get hurt. Have a fun game. Get through this one. All right, fair enough. I'm good. I'm glad we're in the same boat on it. I'm not going to overthink it then. We'll leave it at that on that front. I know we do have one super chat to get to, so we can hit that, and maybe we'll just call it a short pregame today. $2 from the fan from Australia. Hi guys from Launceston. I have no idea how to say that city. Launceston. I tried my best. Go Avalanche. Indeed. The Avalanche should win. That would be cool. All right. We good? We don't need to go 30 minutes, right? We're talking in circles if we do that. So let's just wrap up this pregame. We've got a watch along for you in, I don't know, probably more like 10 or 15 minutes because it's a national game, so it's going to start late. But tune into that when it starts. And then E will be joining me for post-game. So tune in for his thoughts on probably more where the Avs are at heading into the playoffs than this game itself. But maybe something crazy happens. I don't know. Do something. Hopefully you'll join us, hear E's thoughts. We appreciate y'all. This has been the DNVR Avalanche pregame show presented by nobody, but still, we'll see you in a few minutes.
We all silly like the mayor.